Hello. It works. Hyonjo sencho rinpoche mashi panan she jurji. She ba nyamba me ba don kone gonda perwa shos. Now, again, need to remind, please do not forget your compassion. To generate bodhicitta, compassions, how to generate, to think about all the sentient beings, to say, may all of them to be free from sufferings, I would be very happy. And also may all those sentient beings to achieve the permanent state of the happiness. That could be very nice. And also those sentient beings are, like Sam a little bit, we are. And it's difficult to have or to knowledge, which is the make distinctions between what is right, what is wrong, what is the cause of the happiness, what is the cause of the sorrow. And all those beings in their mind have very strong wish to receive happiness, comfortable, like same as we are. But their movement, body, speech, mind is absolutely negative. But they do not know about it is negative or not. But in the beginningless enter right now, those sentient beings are the involved most negative tendencies, negative like patterns. And then they are like kind of naturally, automatically doing its negative things. And then it's the actions of the body, speech, mind is become the more negative, then the result is also negative. Negative of the samsara. And in the samsara, there's different sufferings. And of course, there are many different types of the sufferings. We call the suffering of the change, suffering of the suffering, suffering of the permeates. And there are like last like the suffering of the permeates, and which are the birth, old age, sickness, death. And in these four situations is permeated to all the sentient beings, the bottom of the hell and the above of the God animals. Everybody needs to experience these four situations until they will become or realize the nature of these four situations. And therefore, and there are different types of the unpleasant things. Maybe we wish, we want to make the freedoms for those sentient beings from this kind of different type of the sufferings. And also, of course, ourselves needed. We need to be freedom, or we need to have some master or is knowledge how to control these unpleasant situations. And when we see like this kind of situation for those sentient beings, of course, it's our compassion is naturally, automatically grow up. But we need to make more strong, more to develop our compassion. It is very important, and particularly we call the mind of the enlightenment, bodhicitta. What does it mean? This means our compassion, it should be impartial compassion to concerning all the sentient beings. It doesn't matter, family or relative or enemy, human or insect or sentient beings, or all. Of course, sometimes we say, you don't need to compassion to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. But when we say when we are sending our compassions to send to all sentient beings, there's no kind of deviations, no divided. That's sentient beings. I need my compassion need to them. Or that is a rich, powerful realization. Buddha, Bodhisattvas, they don't need. If we do like this, then our compassion is dualistic, kind of the partiality, and it's not very perfect compassion. When we are sending our compassions to all the sentient beings, it doesn't matter rich, powerful, or doesn't matter poor or sick or like suffering sentient beings. And I wanted to bring all the sentient beings to be in the state of the enlightenment. Of course, when we say the rich, powerful Buddha and Bodhisattvas, maybe they don't need our compassion. It's a truth. But when we practice impartial compassion, it's such the benefit, it is such purification, and such this impartial compassion is the antidote for our dualistic minds. And the dualistic mind is the cause of the ignorant. Ignorant is the dualistic minds. They are very much combination, very much cooperating together. And then the dualistic mind is making confusion, our minds, what is right, what is the wrong. Maybe in the actually realities, there's no right and wrong. Everything is equal. We do not understand the equal, the magnificent equanimity of the phenomena, then we are such confusions. Good things we are considering as bad. Bad things are considered good. And the perspective of the dualistic mind is, when we are judged to the appearances, that is good, that is bad. But that is completely the wrong. For example, some in the sentient being's perspective, Buddha is bad. Some in the perspective is Buddha itself, is the Buddha. But then it's who is right, who is wrong. And this kind of dualistic persons, the mind is kind of damage, it's kind of create own self, is the sufferings. And in this perspective, we practice the impartial compassion to concern the impartially democratic way, if you like to say, to concern all the sentient beings. It's very much benefit in your minds. And it is like when we have very strong dualistic races, dualistic kind of partialities. And this kind of create a lot of problems in the life, ourselves. And we need a special antidote. The best antidote is the impartial compassion. Therefore, also, if you generate impartial compassion, the mind of the enlightenment, it is such as the benefit. And in order to develop this compassion, in order to realize that the magnificent plenitude of the economic state, great economic state of the phenomena, the great equanimity of the samsara and nirvana, happy and sorrow, negative and positives. And this kind of realization is, and we need it. That is, we are searching. That is, we want to meditate on it. That is, we want to manifestation in the front of ourselves or in our minds. And in order to making the manifestation of that, and then we need to practice. We need to serious to study. We need to serious to do it. In order to honest or to seriously to do it, we need enthusiastic. We need inspired. I want to do it until I reach my impermanent. After the impermanent, we don't know next appearances, next destination. We have opportunity or not opportunities. You know, in the historically, sometimes when we born some different continent or countries, there's no name of the Buddha and the Buddha's teachings. There's no name of the talking about the true nature of the realities. Just talking about something externally. For example, if you go to in Tibet, some in the area, I don't know other, we call there's one religious called the owl religious, the big birds are religious. If you go to these communities, they all the time talking about the deity of these birds, day and night, and visualize and talking about that. If you go to there, also sometimes they have very much strange things. There's a sacrifice, and also worships, and also there is like kind of the undergo the hardships, ascetic practice in order to realize these birds. And this sort of true involvement also is they are doing, but it's like we need to a little bit analyze. Basically, it is like to get the knowledge in the relative reality things. For example, we can be talking about the human existence. It is not a kind of mysterious histories. Human existence is fantastic, wonderful, if you recognize. If you do not recognize, then you know many countries, they are making the suicide. Oh, horrible life. I don't like this word. I can't have like this and that. A little problems, they kill themselves. When they are like kind of kill themselves, they think it's like then forever, then this is the end of the sufferings. But this is very much stupid. For example, today is like we say it's horrible day. Not very good. I want to go to quickly tomorrow. Okay, maybe we quickly go to tomorrow, but tomorrow is become the same as today. Then what can we do? We need to go to day after tomorrow. Maybe it's same. They go on like this. And today it is good or bad to accept it, to realize it. Tomorrow is something we need, the good things. Today we need to prepare tomorrow. What I need to prepare tomorrow? It's absolutely in the relative truthfully. We can't prepare tomorrow. Tomorrow not existence. But tomorrow is like for the breakfast, lunch, dinner. We can plan. And tomorrow's, what are you doing? I'm preparing for the tomorrow. A little bit we can to prepare. Maybe we will be tomorrow or not tomorrow, but we can to prepare. Anyway, this is, we can to say is this tomorrow is this hallucination or this appearances tomorrow, we will go there or not, we don't know. But anyway, we have had tomorrow. Surely we will go to tomorrow. Which kind of tomorrow, we don't know exactly. And like this, a little bit to concerning that. And then it's, how do you say, in the relatively, like this, to think about the human existence. Also impermanent. Impermanent is when we are more approach impermanent. What is really transitory? What is really the nature of the changing, transforming things? It's very difficult when it's like if you're more searching, more like kind of the disappearing, untouchable, unreachable, untalkable, undescribable things happened. But in the relatively, is we are come from something else. We don't know yesterday already gone. Even there's no trade. If you really to analyze, if you don't analyze, of course, yesterday. Some people think I want to go back to my past. Very stupid. How we can to go back to our past? Impossible. And then we think it's like some people they think is my past is over there. Surely, I accumulated absolutely confusions. If all our past accumulate someplace, I think space has become very small contained. Space cannot to be the rubbish bin of our past dirty things, But all the passing by in things, there's nothing left, no thread, nothing to mark there is. But we say we are come from something past. Because it's present here, I can hear, I can to see. Because it's the coding that this is the evidence, this is the kind of proof, this present, and I come from past. Coding the present, I will go to tomorrow. Tomorrow is no existence. When we go in the space to look at the universal, turning in the space, there's no destination. Space, no up, down, no four directions, no sub-directions. And just like the turning in space, where they're going, we don't know. There's nothing to say is the destination for our universal. Say that is your universal destination, no existence. Maybe some destination says like your own individual. But we are going on, but there's no kind of the existence of the futures. But in the relatively, coding this present, fresh, reality, uncontrived, this present moment is fresh, alive. Coding this, surely we will go to in the futures. And also there is great master of the Guru Rinpoche Pema Sambhava. Maybe if you are curious, if you want something to check what you've done on the past, you can to look at the present, your situation. Then you can to realize it. And if you want to be curious in the future, which kind you will to be, and you can to look at the present, your activities, and you will become same. And then past futures too easily to check to look at the present, your moments, situation, activities. And then it's like also thinking about the futures. And then it's like also we are like living in the momentary nature. This momentary nature is changing everything. Absolutely, we can to say it's like outer environment is the impermanent, and inner sentient beings also impermanent. There are such holy beings also the impermanent. And inside there are such powerful, rich, and famous. They are all the impermanent. And where we are living, the place also is impermanent. When we are working on the path, and this path itself also it is the impermanent. What is things like permanent things? There is any permanent or the stabilities. Can we find? Can we like to God? Have we heard something is the permanent stability things? It's almost it's impossible. Even the like a kind of this yesterday quotations, some in this area, on this country or this space, or in this world, there are some sentient beings, powerful rishis, Brahma, and someone has like kind of the power of the like control the elements, but also them is already is kind of the gone. And also it's like in this world, there are such powerful and it's empowered, like kind of improve, empowers and reaches it. Very like pinnacles, powerful, material, wealths. Also they gone. They cannot do nothing. And I make often to make joke. I was in London. So I don't know, this is making me very much like showing the impermanent, or it is like sad kind of things. First I came to in London, there's one lady is very, very beautiful. She's a fashion show in the television. And when she's showing the fashion, she was extremely beautiful, but behind they are gossiping something. They say she has one sickness. But they say she should go to in the hospital. And then she went to hospital. Then the doctor said, now you should to go to the hospital. And then she went, and she has full of the something cancer. And she has 2 kids and husband. It's enormous rich lady. But then it's like went to hospital, and she took the chemotherapies, and her lost all the hair, eyebrow. It's become very... a journalist sometimes no compassion, and journalists take care. And they make the picture and send it in the newspaper, everything. Now she says, like, please do not disturb to me. I want to try to cut my sickness. And husband is running around to say, I want to pay, give you money, please, doctors help. My wife, 2 months after, impossible, she died. It's like kind of the impermanence, amazing. And in these situations, she has a beautiful family, a very good husband, a lot of money, but impermanent arrived, she cannot to stay there, no choice. And when we look at this maybe it's sometimes also ourselves, it's the same as these situations. Before to arrive this impermanent, we don't we need to give education, as I said, in our minds, and to power, strength, education, and how you can to control this. The wealth, power, and position, title, it doesn't help. Even sometimes we can to say the Lama said, maybe you have name of the Rinpoche, you have name of the high holiness. You are sitting on the high throne chairs. And also it's like the impermanent arrive. That moment you need to fathom, you need to example your mind as your titles, your thrones, your kind of the service, your kind of the entourage of the names doesn't help at all. Even it's like this kind of title or this kind of positions making more problems. You know, in the word of my perfect teachers, there is some history of the Lama. He was like in the Central Tibetan black horse rider. And he used to say the pace, taking the horse, horns, it is yuck. And he has such like kind of offering honors these things. But of course, he didn't check his own mind. And he passed away, immediately went to the hell. Because it's like a kind of to take many different the offering things. If you not dedicate, if you don't like kind of analyze your mind, it's tatters. It's the name of the Lama, name of the like something, the chairs. It doesn't help. In this case, even those beings need to check. Of course, I was very much in this perspective to think about the impermanent. And it's a little bit to hurry up, to make it enthusiastic for practice if you want to practice Dharma. And also in the holy land of the Indias, there are such kind of the how do you say, it's like powerful persons. There is like a Mahasana and is innumerable like a power rulers entire continent. There is like a kind of the eastern and the western, south, north, in India, in the noble land, we can say, why is noble land? Because Buddha and teachings appear there. And it's just like this. And there is something that, but there are also is like impermanent. Later there are the 3 palaces and 37 how do you say it, tenders, and many other rich and powerful kings reigned in the both eastern and the western Indias. They ruling to the India and the east westerns. And then it's like also they are already in the gone through the impermanent, just left his stories. And in this perspective, to our life, our own like kind of the area situation is not that strong, that not big, and it's a small like a kind of the bird's nest. It is also impermanent. Then it's like to quickly need to do something, and like this. And also in Tibet, land of the Sono, the first king into the Nyat Tsembose. It is a very funny thing, if you want to do a little bit stories in Tibet. Before the first, this king is we call the Nyat Tsembose. Before that, in Tibet is happy. And the land is very, very large, extremely large. But of course, a little bit barbarians, okay? And because it's like there are many different follow, like you can call the shamanism. Just some people created, and then they follow, and then they like kind of, oh yes. And we have black shamanism, white shamanism. There's the type of the shamanism. And there's not much war because land is so huge. And then it's their own families. It's like maybe all Belgium in this country's size. Maybe there's 5-6 families still living. That's all. This area is so big. The ban is like more populations grow up, then start human greetings. Say my territory, your territory. And then it's a start like, civil war is occurring. And that time is everybody wanted one king. And maybe we can to say one good leader, we can to choose election and become the like kind of the rulers. But then certainly in India, there's one king, a small kingdom. He has one son, but very, very strange, because he looks like the birds, like all between they are connected. And also it's like normally our eye clip is the upper is coming down. But this one same as birds, is the down is like clip. And then king was very shame and says, this is not really, I don't want to make the torment, ceremony. I don't want. And he kicked out it. And to like some different. And then he was very sad. He's then going on. But certainly in the Himalaya region, and he came to Tibet. And first time some is the shepherd to see him as they asked who you are, where are you come from? And he chose to put the finger in the space. And they saw maybe it's come from the sky. Maybe it's very nice. They make the torment. Also he's very special. And then he studied Tibetan language. And then his first time is the like king. He became king. He was quite good ruler. And also it's like Nyat Tsembo means it's like quite he's wrathful. And also everybody's carrying on the, the shoulder. And like this is the first. Then after it's more and more, then it's a coming. Was of the divine descended. That means it's like in Tibet people, they think maybe it comes from in the God animals. Emanation of the Bodhisattva, Nivarana Visikikase. And one is like Buddha's, it's Bodhisattva's reincarnation. He was like this. Some in Tibet kings is like all the times reincarnation, Avalokiteshvara or this Machushara, or it is the Benzapanis, it's like this. And then it's like the rings that the 7 heavenly kings are called Trase. And it's like kind of there is an idiom, how does the histories. And during that moment, it's in Tibet, it's very, very, very calm, more happy times. And this is a kind of true, means it's like kind of 10,000. It is something called the true. It's a number of the true, or maybe it is like kind of the position of like this. And it's like in the sixth earth, king collected legs. And there is like a kind of the more like happy situations in the space, on the earth. In the between there is like 8 middle king called the Desi, and the 5 the Ling kings called the Thens. And there are 12 and the half kings of the fortunate dynasty, included the 5 of the extremely fortunate dynasty, and also others beside it. And there is like kind of the half, it is like a half, and it says the 12th and the half king. It is quite very, very happy generations. And after there is like the 5 is extreme generations. It was extremely fortunate, and it's a happy, it's a kingdom. Maybe there's no war and there's no differentiations. Everybody's they life is kind of livelihood, no farm and no kind of thirsty. Everybody is a little bit equal, nice. And then in the region of the Dharma king, Songtsen Gampo, it's become the more powerful, and he's like a reincarnation of the Avalokiteshvara. And the miracle armies subdued all the land from Nepal to the Chinese, because he's controlled the Nepal, and he took the Nepalese princess and his queen, and he controlled in China, and he took the Chinese princess, and he has 2 queens. And Nepal, this queen princess, she brought some very important like statues from Nepal. And also it's like Chinese princess. It's a very nice histories. And she took this, in Lhasa, there's very special, the statue of the Buddha. And also this statue was in India, and this India's kings give to the China. China's, that time is in the Tibet, Songtsen Gampo controlled, and princess brought to in Tibet. Maybe it's this statue is like more than the 2,000, maybe half and the 500 years. And during the Buddha, he was alive. One is artist that created his statue, and he saw us like, oh, looks like me. And this old, very ancient, antique statues we have in Lhasa now, and very famous in the world widely. And that is like brought by the Songtsen Gampo from the Chinese. And also this is now just a history. And you go to in Tibet, it's like the Chinese princess. She's really reincarnation of Tarat, but she did. When she came from China to in Lhasa, she was a little bit hesitated to go to theirs. Normally Tibet people are very clean, but they don't wash their body almost their life. It's okay. It's a very nice smell, okay? They don't need any. But she's a little bit, but she slowly came. She created a bridge, she created many, and in her ways, she created so many. For example, if you go to China, they call the Gongyu Posa. Gongyu Posa reality is Jaza Konjo. It is like they like it called the Tara or the Buddha, but it's like this inconceivable history, her histories. And but this kind of famous, magnificent person and extraordinary person, but they are already now history, just left history. They are impermanent. Wow, we will compare our life. Maybe it's also we will soon become the history, and maybe in the next generation they are talking about Dharma City, who was there and which kind of persons become the history. Before we need to become the histories, we need to do something, practice Dharma. Anyway, it doesn't matter, we need to drink coffee and tea.